And good evening! Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell. Tonight we're going to do part 1 of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. One of these weird phenomena in the Metal Gear series where it's kind of a one-off, never ported, idiosyncratic and strange in its own ways, and 9 times out of 10 involving somebody other than Kojima kind of at the helm. I'm thinking here in particular of like Ghost Babel, the Metal Gear Acid games. You know, these titles that are connected. but evening, Handpig Dad. It's good to see you. Handpig is a great name. That's a hedgehog, right? Or a little that's a hedgehog, right? Handpig. Squeak squeak. A cat! Oh my god, Handpig is a great name for a cat. That's very good. I believe in naming animals after other animals, so that's perfect. Yeah, I'm actually really curious how you arrived at the name Handpig, though, because that is not the normal name. That is not an animal name that many people name their cats. It's not sort of like in the dog or mouse territory. But yeah, so we're gonna do start with that tonight, and as part of the pre-game show. One of the things I do for folks who as folks are trickling in, kind of talk about the books and things that I've been reading over the course of the week to kind of give some space on that. I read the Bradbury story in Fantastic Science Fiction. This was published in November 1965, so this predates me by about 14 years, almost to the day, because birthday's in November. And the Bradbury short story in this is Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And it is aged in an interesting way, because the premise of this is, and I'll just spoil this for you, it's been from 1965, so I'm going to assume that you've had time to read it. The premise of this is that a new Hitler is on the rise in 1955, and that a message has been sent back in time. Evening time, zombie. Congratulations. The pandemic is not a bad time to be on unemployment, even if you might be at the tail end of it. I think you have at least till September, unless they extend it, which I just have a feeling that Republicans in Congress will absolutely stomp the brake and pull the emergency brake and run into a wall to prevent from happening. But enjoy it while it lasts. Regular unemployment is also good too. Washington State is fantastic for a social safety net. But anyway, yeah. So this is the premise is there's a kind of like a Hitler brewing in 1955 in America. He's a congressman, and a woman from 500 years in the future is running through that sort of like mental game of like, what if you could kill Hitler? What if you could go back in time and tell someone to kill Hitler? And so like time travel experiments fail. People kind of come, hamsters come back with no heads, missing parts, inside out, those sorts of aberrations. So what she's able to do is she's able to send a typewriter back in time, and the typewriter has a partner in the future. So when she types on it, the main character can see it in the present, and when he types on it, she can see it in the future. And this is a really novel idea in the science fiction, and this is basically texting. It's literally texting, except using a typewriter. And so the entire premise is being able to text across time periods over a period of 500 years. And it feels very charming now. It's one of those moments where you can see a glint of the technology that is to come in the science fiction of the past, and that's a really amazing thing to discover. Well, I mean, the other problem with that is that Hitler was also created in part by it was a combination of personality and historical circumstances, and it is almost certainly guaranteed that if Hitler specifically didn't exist, then somebody would also have been shaped by the historical circumstances of post-World War I austerity to create a similar populist movement. Not great. Don't use austerity. It's bad. Our future cat. Small cat as a pig that fits in the hand. Well, I mean, that that's perfect. It's actually a very easy story to tell, and does not get into many of the sort of the more confusing allusions and references that many people's pet names sort of imply, and I include myself in that. No, I'm not a fan of the great person theory. I remember there are this is an oversimplification, but in general, there are two kinds of historians. One who look at patterns that give rise to certain types of people in certain times, and then there's the great person. And an historian whose lecture I was listening to on like one of the great lecture series said that there's almost always a match between the person who thinks of the great person theory comes from an upper class background, and people who think of it as a systems theory come from lower to middle class backgrounds. And I think that's a very interesting correlation because I guess if you move in circles where there are few people and they have a lot of power, then you tend to focus on individuals with power rather than being at the behest of systems that shape your life. That's a really good question. I mean, I don't know about the outcome, but it was destined to turn into something. Oh, Theodore. Yeah, for some reason, I think, didn't you used to have Theodore as your handle name? Anyway, I remember you, of course. Cad pig. That's great. But, so, the other thing that I've been doing, and I actually have show and tell for this one. This is good. So I continued reading 100 Years of Japanese Film, Donald Ritchie. And the tragedy of this is that so many of these movies are lost to history because they were just destroyed. They were either consumed, destroyed, whatever. And so they don't exist. So now he's getting up to the point in history where he is talking about movies that have survived and movies that I have seen, and I'm able to go into the movies and look at what he's talking about, and it's fantastic. Of course I destroy them on camera. That's what these fists are for. Punching movies. All right, this is great. Great chat's kind of coming up on my iPad now, and that makes for a much easier following when I switch away. So this is something I've discovered. This is I can do a slideshow function with Twitch, and this is great. So this is the end of our pregame show here, because I figured this out. Let's drop this on down here. So this is from. There we go. It works. This is from a Sadao Yamanaka movie called Shoshan Koichikawa? I forget the name of it specifically. It is one of these. It's a movie that is not translated, unfortunately. I mean, it's translated, but the title isn't translated, so I have a harder time remembering it. I will find that later and put it in chat. But so what's really interesting about this? This is the thing that that Ritchie points out, that I was able to go back and kind of like look at the individual stills and frames and see that it works. This is like the climax of one of the main protagonists' moments in the movie. And it's pretty awesome. Evening Gamer Jim, it's good to see you. I don't know if you're talking about the slideshow or the Twin Snakes, but if it's either one, you're in luck. But so this is one of the protagonist's sort of like final moments, and he's sort of he's kind of a ruffian, sort of an enlightened figure who nonetheless is kind of like, you know, lives in the city, lives in the town, is not really a noble, which is often, you know, the samurai's sort of status in these movies. But he dies a samurai's death by sort of like ennobling up. He's helping a boy get away and skedaddle from a group of sort of thieves that are pursuing him because he killed one of their own. And so he's putting up this barricade, right? And so what's interesting is how long they linger on the barricade and his holding it up, and how many different shots they go through. So here he is. This is like right at the beginning of his sort of like final moments where he's setting up the barricade. And I believe the hotkey I've got this for this. Yeah, there we go. And so then it cuts over to this shot here, where it's showing him pulling it back. And it's really interesting looking at just the visual composition of this shot, where you have the water coming down out of a pipe from upper left down to the right, down to the middle, and you have that sort of slashing diagonally across in kind of an X shape against some of the barricade. And he's there vertically. And so what you have, this visual composition of a lot of dynamism and even chaos, and then he is there with this like sort of perfect vertical, and then there's empty space on the right, and it really does look like stemming back a tide. And then it, you know, there's chaos and junk on the left, and then there's sort of him as a barrier between that and free open space. Then it cuts to this, which is just him sort of 1,000-yard stare, understanding this is his last moment, and his resolve has a kind of peace to it. He's not grimacing, he's not sour, which is actually really interesting as a distinction to the way a lot of the facial acting goes in a lot of these samurai characters in the Jiraiya, because they're full of resolve and firm, and that's not his attitude here at the end, and that's great. And then it cuts again further back. Same sort of idea, but then further back away, so you're further distanced, and you still see the water coming slashing down. And this whole thing takes like 30 to 45 seconds, and it's just, that's not the kind of lingering that most movies would do on this moment. That's really fascinating. And so, besides the composition of the chaos on one side and him stepping it back, here you've got sort of the chaos, everything kind of encroaching. And you also have this image of the water flooding down, and you have him holding up a barricade, and there's sort of a dam imagery there, right? Because you have the water flowing down, it's unimpeded. And then when you see what's on the other side of the barricade, it's, you know, these thieves they're trying to push and overcome. And so that's kind of the rushing against the dam. And eventually, you know, one of them gets through and cuts, you know, they don't show a lot of blood in those older ones, but, you know, he takes one, and that's his last hit. And then he still holds on and is still kind of like a force against the chaos. And then it cuts to the boy escaping, which is what he is trying to, which is what he's trying to create the option for. And so just compositionally, it's so interesting because now no longer are you looking. Let me go back. No longer are you looking at the chaos. No longer are you looking at the one person who is stopping his pursuers. You're seeing him in free open space in very vertical lines with a definite horizon line. You can see the horizon, right? Which is itself kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Hint of hope. And so the boy is running to freedom into the future. And so you have all of that chaos and him stemming it back, and the imagery of the water and lingering shots and just sort of like checking it out from several different angles to let you see like what it conveys the emotion of the moment more than it does the action. And to be able to take that kind of time and linger and use composition of shots and it's amazing to me. I love this. And then comparing that to this, it's beautiful. And then so kind of like another thing that's really cool. One of the things that makes this sort of like open area, this open air thing really interesting, is this is the scene prior to that. So those thieves that you saw kind of like pushing up against the dam, this is them before as they're beginning their sort of attack. And many of these scenes are in a town, in a city, so these closed alleyways and very cramped spaces. And it's really interesting look at where the alleys go. They kind of go in the distance there, kind of terminate on the left. You've got a lot of crowding people kind of pushing out of it. And then once they break through the house and get onto the other side, there is this ditch that is running behind the house, and there are these small little bridges that are crossing the ditch, and that's where the action happens. So it's like everything is in this very cramped space. It's very focused. And these little bridges are very interesting, just as things over ditches to me. But yeah, and then it kind of pulls back away. There's another bridge, and the action just takes place on these bridges at different levels, and you kind of hop back between them. And it's just really, really cool seeing how just this consistent shape, this consistent distance is used to terminate space at an end, while also showing cramped close quarters action. And again, that is everything leading up to the dam sequence, and which then ends with this. So it's just that sort of form, using shape to tell the story more than verbs, more than words, more than actions, more than narration. And that is, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Form creating content. It's where my heart lives. Which is one of the reasons why I wrote Driving Off the Map. This film is, let me get that for you. Oh, actually, I can just get it in the book. It does not have an English title, but it is available if you look for a DVD or Blu-ray called the Surviving Films of Sadao Yamanaka. You can find it. It is not Humanity in Paper Balloons. That's not it. Soshun Kochiyama. That's spelled, I will type this into chat. That's... Come on, dude. Well, this keyboard kind of sucks. So I'm going to spell it for you. S-O-S-H-U-N, second word, K-O-C-H-I-Y-A-M-A. And yes, Time Zombie, life is a ditch. Hopefully one that we can get out of. The book title is 100 Years of Japanese Film. It's by Donald Ritchie, spelled R-I-T-C-H-I-E. And it's very well written. And thank you, Gamer Jim. Yeah, this is kind of what I do. And on the note of sort of Japanese film, that is an excellent segue into the Twin Snakes, because I have a bit of a story here for my sort of relationship to this game. I hated it when it came out. Despised it. Loathed it. Returned it I returned it to GameStop with credit with disgust, because I was like thinking like this was going to be like a game where it kind of like took Metal Gear Solid 1 and put it in the context of Metal Gear Solid 2, so now we're going to find out about the Patriots and all the narrative and all the story stuff, and it's going to be great. And then I found it was like backflipping off of missiles and stuff like that. I'm like, what the hell is this? This doesn't make any sense. And I was much more uptight then as a fan, I can tell you. And now I'm less so, actually in part due to my own explorations of what I actually like about the series and my own critical writing. One of the things that is going to make this version of Metal Gear Solid make sense is if you go and watch Versus, V-E-R-S-U-S, by Ryuhei Kitamura, and that is the director of the cutscenes in this. You will see his combat style, you will see the way that he handles action, the way he directs it. Oh yeah, fandom was very different, and I think that, I mean, I was kind of among the first generation of Metal Gear fans, because I was, you know, early 20s when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, and, you know, all of us waiting for our brains to finish forming at 25, and sort of like very, very sensitive and touchy about the things that we don't like showing up in games. And in this case, breaking with what felt like franchise rules for a kind of aesthetic or a kind of tone. Yes, that's it. I am going to play Revengeance, as a matter of fact. I love Revengeance. That is a favorite game of mine. What did I do with... Oh, there we are. But yeah, so if you watch that, that will make a lot more sense, and it's also interesting, kind of one of the other ideas behind this, besides being kind of a Kitamura cover of Metal Gear Solid. Yes, I think so too. Well, I think that there's also enough sort of... water under the bridge isn't the right word, but there's been enough made that I think people don't feel like they're necessarily starving for new stuff to come out, right? I think at the time, this would have been like maybe the fourth, I want to say, major console release in the Metal Gear series, actually third, because there'd be MGS1, MGS2, and then Twin Snakes. So there's a lot more that's out there now, so I think people will be a little more forgiving of this, those who were kind of grumpy about it. Oh yeah, Revengeance's stealth is kind of nuts. Oh, evening chicken strips. Thank you. I'm glad to see you joined. Yeah. No, we'll be playing this game and talking about it. Let's see. Yeah, I know. Chat's clicking. Man, I was telling somebody, it's like, you know what? I think if I want to pick up the pace in this thing, I'll just do some Metal Gear, and I was right. Oh yeah, no. Revengeance's stealth is absolutely an afterthought. That was that is. Oh, is that a? Yeah. Sorry, got shirt there. Revengeance's stealth is very much, very much. We kind of have to do this because it's Metal Gear, but it's not really our jam. Give me 1 second to adjust picture here. There we go. And what's our volume at? For newcomers, forgive me, I don't have remote control on this TV, so I have to kind of stand up and do things. No, suspenders forever. I am not playing on CRT. No, I'm playing on a widescreen TV that doubles as my computer monitor. Let's see. All right, and Yeah, so for anybody who has not seen it, because this is now retro and that breaks my heart, this is a GameCube controller. This is one of the most ergonomically comfortable controllers I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh yeah, Time Zombie lost big when he bet against me. And it turns out all I needed was some provocation to succeed. Oh yeah, Snake being able to fire in first person makes like Ocelot and Mantis just ridiculously easy. It's so weird seeing these cutscenes. As many times as I've watched this on PSX, it's so weird watching these environments without that sort of crosshatch distortion that comes from the resolution of textures from on the PS1.
By next generation special forces being led by members of Foxhound. They are demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss. And they say that if their demands are not met within 24
it's exactly
hours,
swimming.
they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
No, I have not taught any post-secondary literature courses. However, I have been a tutor for literature students of all stripes and levels. So I have support familiarity with educational, with teaching. Actually, Space Hamlet, I'm really curious if you can give me some feedback, because some of the setup is a little different. How is the voice to game balance? I kind of thinking maybe I'm gonna kind of move the microphone over here and tell me if that's any better.
What's the insertion method?
No, I did not TA. I was able to get my tuition waived by working at a writing center and as a tutor. And let's see. All right, that's where the mic was. That's where the mic was, and staring at me from behind the camera. So. Oh yeah, Raven is actually Raven is interesting. They did something to the boss level in oh, game is a bit quiet. Okay, yeah, thank you. Oh my goodness.
Your former unit.
What that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
Let's bump this up. Because yeah, this should be at a good volume.
Psycho Mantis with his powerful psychic abilities.
So how's that feeling, game-wise?
The beautiful and deadly sharpshooter.
Also,
Decoy Octopus, master of
bam it up a
disguise.
notch.
Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot.
Okay, cool. Then
interrogation and a
if that is there's a good distance, then yeah, I can do that. No, I've never tried to learn the gun flip routine. I have not had access to a revolver outside of a firing range, so unfortunately have not. Also, thank you, Chicken Strips. It's very kind of you to say. Sorry, chat is moving quickly. Yeah, I got issues with the hind fight still. That's this is neat. This is new. And I would absolutely hate to have to be the engineer that had to install all of those infrared sensors. And one imagines, for a vehicle the size of what they expect to catch there, you would think maybe, like, I don't know, only like 5 would work? But instead they had like a whole budget of like, you know, we've got like 20 of these in storage, let's finally use them.
Weapons and equipment OSP.
Yes. This is a top secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
The load screen very weirdly at 60 FPS. Getting Elder God flashbacks from Legacy of Kain. Let's see. I'm pretty sure. What's my? Okay, I beat this on normal. Yeah, so I mentioned returning this in disgust to GameStop, and to reacquire it, I had to go to Pink Gorilla and drop down $160, and it kills me that I give anything away or give anything back to a game store. At this point, I'm like, I'm not going to sell anything ever again. But yes, that's it was March 26th that I played this. Oh, thank you, Handpig. Yeah, that is a lot of fun. I like that essay, and it was a really good time to write. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that they retranslated it. I do know that they excuse me. Let's do new game, or let's see. Yeah, let's load New Game Plus? Yeah. Should be, yeah, okay, let's do hard. Not gonna do extreme. I've learned my lesson. Not game over discovered. Just gonna make it a little hard. Not really hard. I think it's very interesting, the UI there. One of the things that they're taking some advantage of is the sort of hexagonal design that you see in a lot of the UI and general shape language from Metal Gear Solid 2, so they're really tapping into that. Also, this is the first Metal Gear Solid 1 version where they are actually able to credit everybody by their proper names, because there was no VIA or Union rules kind of screwing things up for them. Oh yes, if it doesn't have Snake, then I don't know why we're here. I'm gonna be honest with you. Huh, I'll look into the translation aspect of this later. I'm very curious about that. Let's skip forward there. All right.
Stay alert. He'll be through here. I know it. I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies.
Like, I know the point of the game, right in the title, is that they're twins, and so that the twin snakes, but Liquid and Solid Snake actually looking like each other's, like, in the face, and this one never ceases to weird me out. Because even though I'm supposed to abstract that they're twins from their PSX models, and, you know, they've got sort of like just that sort of very dark, recessed, you know, texture for their eye, where their eyes are supposed to be, I'm always able to imagine that they're twins, and I can see them as so different visually. And this, like, they look alike, and it's creepy. Yes, Space Hamlet, all of these lines were redone. As a matter of fact, I believe that they use, when in Metal Gear Solid 4, when Snake revisits Shadow Moses, and they...
This is Snake. Colonel, can you
and they play
Loud and clear.
archival lines from Metal Gear Solid 1. They actually use the VO from this, rather than the original one. I remember specifically when you visit the Hind D on the ground outside of... outside of the communications tower in the Shadow Moses level of Metal Gear Solid 4, you hear Liquid, "Come on, fly!" And this performance is distinctly different from the MGS1, where he's kind of pleading with it in this one, and he's kind of commanding it in the first. And it's the pleading performance that they use. So, yeah.
The codex receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear.
Also, I think it's an understandable mistake. I think Agnes Kaku was the translator for Metal Gear Solid 2, and she is sort of famously on record for talking about some of that work. So, it's an understandable mistake. Oh yeah, and you can also do this here, which you could do in the first one. But now Snake's got... "Don't make me come up there." Dad stomping energy. There we go. So the AP sensor is the anti-personnel sensor, and when you have that equipped, which is recommended when you're playing not with radar off, is another way of saying that. Yeah, you get a little bit of vibration in the controller, and that lets you know that there's somebody like nearby, and the vibration level sort of oh, hey, we're not going to use that this time, but it's cool that it's there. Vibration level varies depending on how close they are. They're also able to do shadows in this. Which guards can detect and respond to, as they could in Metal Gear Solid 2. Oh no. Crap. Oh my god! Seriously? Oh no! Okay, so I'm just gonna say, if you're gonna force me to watch a cutscene, letting the guards continue to move is BS. I think this might be a wash for a first time. I don't want to go into the first level with like this amount of health, so we're just gonna get used to the controls a little bit. Evening, Ark. It's good to see you.
Snake, are you okay? Snake! Snake!
That game over screen is very strange to me. I think I can kind of see what they're doing visually with the sort of wavy line, because it's got the Snake feel. It's got it's got kind of the EKG nearing flatline feel. Oh no. Oh, that was a bad idea. Weird, you can do the same thing that you could do in MGS2. Simple enough. So also, because the GameCube only has one button, you can't really hit pause and select. So the way you access your codec and pause, this is a very strange control scheme, but I'm actually kind of... It becomes intuitive, and it's a smart way of solving this problem. You press down the start button, and then you press this to... press the A button to move in and out of codec. And if you want to pause, you hit the B button, which now they give you a Metal Gear Solid 2-esque 3D model, the kind of your level. Oh yeah, no, that punch, that's quality CQC right there. But I'm only gonna do this once. I do want to do this area good.
It's the enemy. I need help.
What if does the glass screen shatter? Yeah, it does. They still got it. That's really interesting that they bring in Mei Ling's voice. She hasn't been introduced yet. Or maybe that's Naomi. One of the things that they did remove the accents on Mei Ling's and Naomi's characters. So both of them have kind of like straight sort of American accents. they see me under here? How good is the AI in this? Remember, the AI in this is better than it was in the original MGS, which, you know, one might expect.
Huh?
Ah, crap, my shadow. No, dude, get off the wall!
It's the enemy. I need help.
Ugh. Alright. So, for context, is what I was trying to do there. I was trying to run over to him and CQC throw him, or CQB throw him rather. That didn't work out because Snake stuck to the wall. So, here we go. This one's for all the beans. Cargo dock. This is where you and I part ways. Looks like they kind of still have the same sort of jello texture to the water that that I remember the water in Metal Gear Solid 2 has when Raiden sort of climbs up. Okay. So Homeboy's gonna look down there. Run over here.
Huh? Who's there?
Yeah, did it. Oh, cute little rat. All a scamper. Yeah, this the tutorial room has a lot going on. Wow, this guy's kind of got a hint that Snake is there, and is now just very confused. I know there's supposed to be something in that locker. Can you see me? I remember there's an M9 somewhere around here, but I don't know if it's where it is on Extreme. I'm also thinking I'm not going to spend the time to go over there and try to look for it. Oh, no! Classic CQC technique of consistently punching someone in the base of the head. Real refined martial arts. Look at my water. Oh yes, this is where it's unabashedly Kitamura. With the drum and bass and the cool setup. As liquid and solid can sense each other are near. That is so weird, as somebody who's very familiar with the series, to see a moment as iconic as this, where there are lingering shots in the original, that it's this stylized. It depends. In Metal Gear Solid 3, it depends on how far away the other guards are. If they heard the gunshots, they would call in. They might call in an alert. But if you can take out the guy who saw you, that's usually a pretty quick get-out-of-jail-free card. I dig the overhead view that lets me just see the entire layout of the level. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
That took a long time.
The classic title shot?
I guess
How do you
you're
mean?
feeling a little rusty.
Don't worry. It's been a while, but it's
You mean
all
with
coming back to me.
Snake sort of standing at the lower camera angle,
I'm nice and dry.
looking at
It's
Snake,
a little hard to move.
the cowboy angle, and then the title up there. Yeah.
This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy. I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the
So
genome
I'm mainly
soldiers
interested in the cutscenes on this, so I'm going to skip a lot of the codec.
A Hind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea.
Must be crazy to fly high in that kind of weather.
Got their attention.
When you're high enough on the food chain in Foxhound, you don't have to wear a facial covering. The cold just leaves you alone.
Now's your best chance to slip in unnoticed.
There's one thing. So they did port over most of the mechanics of Metal Gear Solid 2, even weird ones that don't entirely have a place. Let's see. I'll show you one.
If you want to get in, there's the front
I do
door.
like how they.
It's the fastest way.
I like the bandana's physics in this. I remember really liking the fact that the bandana could sort of flip around and stuff on
About the air duct near the
Metal Gear
door.
Solid 2, and I like that they kept it here.
Left, and one on the right. They're armed with 5.56ers and pineapples.
There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I can't see it from here.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
I seem to remember COA being is kind of like consistently showing up as military terminology in the series, but I don't think actually is. One thing that is neat that feels a little weirder, maybe a little more out of place in this, is where they have the English and the Japanese titles the same when you enter an area. And that always made sense to me in Metal Gear Solid 2 after the fact as sort of like an artifact of Arsenal gear, that you were sort of interacting with that world through, I mean, that was kind of like a narrator, in a sense, a lens through which the story is presented. Let's see if I can scooch over. Yeah. And here it feels like a style choice
A surveillance camera.
with less explanation. But you know, as a style choice, the style's great, right? I seem to recall in the original game, this area, they just had the the stun grenades just out in the open, so that's kind of a nice, easy win to be able to drop them off in the lockers like that. Go ahead and use that new mechanic for something that already exists. That camera angle doesn't help me. Alright.
Who's there?
Whew. Looks up. Gotta admire him for being thorough. Let me equip this. Where's my... Oh crap, I didn't grab the AP sensor. So I want to grab this dude here. What the heck is he? There he is. Oh my god! Dude, grab him! Truly Big Boss's air. Grab the man. There we go. Alright, so this is how I'm going to deal with this. There we got... Got a dizzy man here and very dumb guards.
No sign of the AWOL man. Everything seems...
Yes, everything seems normal, doesn't it? Oh crap!
I'm under enemy fire. Secure the perimeter.
Alright. Oh yeah, the caution music is much more tense in this. So if I had known, if my fingers had known the right buttons to push sooner than later, that would have worked. But they did. So here we are. I gotta say, having played Metal Gear Solid 5, I've been replaying that. The caution and evasion phases in these earlier games are so much shorter, and they really draw it out on in MGS5. Well, this is a fine time to catch up on chat. Yeah, Kojima, I think that, I remember reading that Kitamura originally was being very loyal to the original game, but then Kojima saw what he was doing. It was like, no, you should do something like what you do, because that's what I want you to make. Oh my god, grab him! I'm pushing the right button this time. This is maddening. Everybody grab him. Alright, round two, and if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna shoot him. Here, this is what I want to show you. This mechanic from Metal Gear Solid 2. Plus the exact animation of Snake's arms sort of dangling after he throws them off. That's what that was all for. The only place I think that shows up in the entire game. And, I mean, it looks like they just got, like, Metal Gear Solid 2's full, like, tool set. You know, gotta use it somewhere. And it has to be a place where you can drop an enemy off, not just on another layer, but actually off the level. Very much want to use the Metal Gear Solid 3 ability to lock the camera angle over to one side when I tilt it. actually started to patrol instead of snoozing off. I'm kind of two minds of that, Swimmy. It does make sense. But the things that I liked about Metal Gear was it's had this sort of, I mean, it had the really ridiculous science fiction side to it, but it always had sort of grounded quality to it. You know, the extent to which they would just explain, oh wait, that's not the right way. The extent to which they would just like explain the science behind it and have these like long winding codec calls about historical, you know, context and how your weapons work and stuff like that. And then for Snake to be able to do like a Spider-Man flip, just seems, it seems, doesn't quite match the tone that the rest of the series had set.
Snake, this is McDonald.
And that was where my problem with it lived. Now I'm able to more enjoy it for what it is. Excuse me. No, that's interesting, Space Hamlet, and I agree that, I remember there was only one place that I think you could do that, which was on the tanker. I don't remember if that was an option on the plant. Yeah, if Snake threw an enemy off that bridge in the tanker, then when they show like a news photo on a website showing that Snake had been framed, there's a cipher floating around taking pictures. It has... Oh, I didn't need to crawl all the way out, but here we are.
Is there somebody there?
Oh no. Oh right, the door I want to go through is not down here. But yeah, it kind of feels like that feature was made for that moment, because, that's not an area where I think a lot of guards are a problem. That might just be me though. Yeah, sneaking it up. A Twin Snakes version of Metal Gear Solid 2. Yes, that would be absolutely be the snake eating its own tail. Ooh. Excuse me. Oh, I absolutely remember MGS2 the skateboarding. As a matter of fact, I don't think Mexican Sting is here, but he will be delighted to know, as he might already, that I picked up Konami's Pro Evolution Skating, or Evolution Skating Pro. I don't remember if Pro is even in there. I'm thinking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It's just Evolution Skating. That has Snake and Raiden as playable characters, and also the vaguely named Vampire Hunter, which is clearly a Belmont. It always kind of blows my mind to think that the torture cell that such an iconic sequence is just like right here, right at the start. You pass it not knowing what it is. Let's see. There's something in here. No, buddy, go down. Go there. There we go. No, it's just more lunch. Yeah, you know, and oh yeah, here's the torture cell. I don't remember if you could see this much of it in the original, but here we are. That's the cell, and right now, that's interesting. Right now, just on the other side of that wall, Donald Anderson's corpse is moldering. And I'm about to make Donald Anderson corpse number 2. Fox die. No way, I did not know that swimming. Did they... Chicken strips, did they? I don't, I hear the American voices in, Oh, wait a minute, do you mean like the control station? Gourds. Control station, voices? Like when they, the person who answers the call and, sends reinforcements? Pardon me. This is also interesting that they took these little moments. I'm pretty sure this was optional, like only if you look down you would see it, but they give this its own cutscene here. You know, I think Chicken Strips, I think I'm so used to Metal Gear Solid 2's VO that I just accepted it without even thinking about it. I'll pay attention to that next time.
Boy, oh boy. That woman is built all right.
As far as whether or not it's lazy, I mean, it's hard to say. I always, I mean, you never really know what a game's budget and what their resources are, and especially when it's a remake. You know, some things that seem like they are regular parts of a game come in really hot at the last second, so that might have been something that, I don't know, maybe they just never were able to stub in, or something happened. The game is very well made, so I have a hard time thinking that it's a quality oversight. So I guess I give them the benefit of the doubt on that. The only thing that is sort of immersion breaking from it is that, I mean, even though there is like Russian cooperation through Ocelot and through Gurlukovich, who's name dropped in the first one, these are all Americans, so the sort of Russian accent doesn't make sense. You can shoot the radios in this. Evening Mexican Stings, good to see you. I believe I summoned you by talking about evolution skateboarding briefly. So I'm glad you said hi. If you're able to make it back before we're done, I'd love to see you back. But if you can't, I hope you have a great evening. I don't know. I just know that as much as game developers care about what they do, and as much as any flaws or weaknesses in the final release pains every single one of them, even the ones that the regular playing audience doesn't see, lazy is never... It's never lazy. There's always a reason.
You're the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, right?
You're here to save me, huh?
Oh man, Greg Eagles did such a fantastic job as a DARPA chief and as Gray Fox, and I really wonder why they didn't have him back for Gray Fox in this. The guy who does Gray Fox in the Twin Snakes is fine, but in my mind, Greg Eagles is sort of very raspy. Gray Fox will always be definitive to me.
Hurry up and get me out of here.
Slow down. Don't worry. First,
the game is well made enough, I think.
Terrorists.
The terrorists?
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuke?
What are you talking about?
I'm actually curious to know what the budget and sort of like resources available on this were, and how much of that went toward cutscenes versus gameplay. Because I mean, the one thing that does make it feel a little bit like a cash grab is the fact that none of the level designs were touched up or adjusted to make the new mechanics make sense. So, I mean, as Swimmy has noted with a first-person view, at least 3 of the boss fights are significantly broken. as a result of the first-person aiming. But I'm not aware of it being broken in any way more than like most games that can be speedrun.
That's the official story. Got it? We were conducting exercises with a new type of experimental weapon. A truly historical weapon. A weapon.
Yeah, I agree, Mexican Sting. I would have liked to see DARPA Chief recast, just because Gray Fox is... I mean, Greg Eagles is such a solid voice talent. I was so happy with his, you know, he did Garcian and Killer 7. And if you listen to Garcian, Gray Fox, and DARPA Chief, he's got really good range and versatility. And between the two characters, I think he just killed Gray Fox even more. So,
how did you know that?
We've had a couple of run-ins in the past. So that's the reason you were here at this disposal site?
Why else would I come to a godforsaken place like this?
well, I mean, chicken strips, the way that I think about video games is that, the way I think about a lot of art is that however it got there, it's there. And if it's there, it's fair game to figure out. So, looking at it from like a critical, like an aesthetic or narrative critical point of view, if you leave something like that in there, then that's what the reality of the game is. So finding a way to explain it is fair game. I think that's every fan's God-given freedom is to fill in gaps. As a matter of fact, that's what fans love to do.
Metal Gear Rex, the code name for the new Metal Gear prototype. They're probably already finished arming the warhead they plan to use with Rex.
That's interesting, Swimmy. I imagine, I imagine that...
Hey! Shut up in there, will ya?
Johnny's voice comes across as a little wimpier in this. I liked his false bravado. Oh yeah, this was the first moment where I was like, what the hell? Because I don't remember if this was something Snake could do in Metal Gear Solid 1, but I kind of remember he just kind of like stuck into a corner on the ground, but I could be wrong. But this is the first thing where I was like, wait, if Snake can do that in cutscenes, why can't I do that in the game?
Some kind of detonation code that you have to input.
Oh, you mean PAL. Yes, of course, there is a PAL. It's set up so that you need to input 2 different passwords in order to launch.
Yes, the VA for Anderson is in Killer 7. That is Garcian Smith.
Baker knows one.
It's Greg Eagles.
I know one.
Baker, the president of Arms Tech?
That's right. Each of us needs to input our password. There can be no loss.
Yeah, Snake's got Spider-Man powers, and that's the sort of thing where... one of the things that in contrast, that I really liked in Metal Gear Solid 4, MGS4 actually does a very good job of introducing a lot of your basic mobility in the opening cutscene, where Snake hops off the truck and he's still in his Middle Eastern costume, and he's actually able to roll on the ground, and a lot of moves like that look really cool in the cutscene you can actually do in the game. And I actually think it's very important to have a lot of overlap there to make sure that what you show a character doing that you control is consistent with what happens when they're out of your control, unless it's leading into like a new power or something.
Yes.
Evening, Mexican Sting. It's great to see you, and I hope you have a good weekend. You know, I haven't played any of the Sam Fisher games, so unfortunately, I know that I seem to remember Naked Snake being able to hang from a branch with one hand and sort of like hold out a sidearm with the other was supposed to be a Sam Fisher reference. And they also, I think, kind of referenced Sam Fisher in the Snake vs. Monkey minigame. But, yeah, I'm not familiar with the series outside of those references. I haven't played much Splinter Cell.
That card key.
So where are the card keys?
Baker should have them. Listen.
One place that the Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes Snake has persisted, there, I think the place I encountered this in 2 places. One was Metal Gear Touch, where you could use your points that you earned while playing the game to unlock concept art and things like that. And it's not really concept art in every instance, it's just sort of like character art. So, but the Twin Snakes Solid Snake with particularly the way that the face is shaped and everything. They use a render of that, maybe touched up for some concept art.
Take this.
That's the only other instance of the Metal Gear Solid 1 Snake that I know being rendered outside of the original MGS1.
It's called a pan card. It works together with your body's own electrical field.
Personal area network, huh?
Like Snake just kind of says that, like just to prove that he knows what it is. Very Captain American. Like, I got that reference.
And the doors will open automatically.
I got that acronym.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
You haven't heard any.
I gotta say, one of the things that makes Snake just like a hardcore soldier is that he just implicitly accepts the inevitability of an escort mission. And
Are you sure you haven't heard anything?
I just said no.
that makes my muscles kind of like bunch up thinking about. But Solid Snake,
That's their problem.
he's there for it.
It has nothing to do with my orders.
But what about the Pentagon?
Pentagon?
You know, something that is interesting to me now that I think about it is, okay, it's fine. A decoy octopus, sure, is able to sort of take in the blood of his targets, alter face and skin tone and everything to reflect their identity, and probably even has a wardrobe of clothes that fit him. But how did he get Donald Anderson's tie? How do you get that in Alaska, in this far out of the way place? That's what I want to know. Yeah, the bag of noodles squishing sound effect is pretty. Yeah. You're right, chicken strips. It is the first photorealistic game. Yeah, I think many games have held that honor as graphics have continued to improve. And I'm glad that we are at a point where the realism of graphics has reached a point where it's kind of capped off. And now maybe we can start emphasizing style. One of the reasons why I like Killer 7 is Killer 7 will always age perfectly.
Naomi,
because it's about style.
What happened?
I don't know.
Haha! Decoy octopus hiding his lunch. Frozen? Oh no, this does not bode well for the fight that's coming up. Let's see, I think if I keep it on my body, I can warm it up, which I absolutely want to do here. There we go. Ominous. If I can remember in the first one, I can kind of look outside and kind of lean out and see Meryl. Doesn't look like it wants me to do that in this one. One thing that is a little odd to me, just aesthetically in this, is the size of the ammunition containers in this are they don't scan as loud as they don't scan as large as they do in the original, and it feels somehow weaker to me. I like the big bulky ammo cases. Oh. Snake, I like the idea of Snake just bursting out with bravado.
Don't move. So you killed the chief, you bastard!
Yes, this is got a nice Kitamura touch to it.
No, you're not. Don't move!
I think Meryl has a little bit
Is
of
this the first
badass in
time you
her in
ever
this,
pointed a gun at a person?
despite
Your
being
hands are
green.
shaking. Can you shoot me, rookie?
Careful. I'm no rookie.
Liar. Your eyes wander. There's no confidence in them. The eyes of a rookie. You've never shot a person, have you?
You talk too much.
You haven't even taken the safety off, rookie.
I told you I'm no rookie.
You're not one of them.
I gotta hand it to Meryl. She didn't look,
Open that door.
which is what Johnny did, and which I think I would have if somebody called me on something like that.
Get the hell out of
Looks
here.
like we'll be a little delayed. What are you doing? Don't think. Shoot!
So this is where I think first-person shooting makes this quite a bit easier. Also, these helmets for these guys are worse than useless.
What are you waiting
Oh, that's nice.
Shoot!
Don't talk
It
to me.
automatically takes Snake over to
I'm telling you, shoot!
the ammo drop. Who could have seen it coming? Grenades come in soon. No, get it! Ah, shucks. Yeah, Snake's barking out the orders there, Space Hamlet. Would be especially scared of Ricochet, and particularly because of the. I mean, these are not walls that
Thanks for the help.
I wouldn't get the feeling these are walls that bullets are going to go through. I think it's like all concrete and industrial grade metal.
Who are you? You
I wonder if they originally used that TV static effect
I'm sorry.
when
sir.
transitioning between those scenes.
His mental shielding was very strong. I could not die.
Oh, do you mean like, Space Hamlet, do you mean that no gunfights in MGS5 look like that, so you love it? Or that when a gunfight like that happens in MGS5, you can't stand it? Just make sure I'm reading
Never
right.
Get that detonation code.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get I get so aggravated with myself when I get caught in Metal Gear Solid 5 because one of the things I really like to do is I like to choreograph my gameplay so that it looks cool to me. Oh, hold on. It's speaking of looking cool. I mean, the engraving doesn't give any tactical advantage, but shooting in a circle, watch out, buddy. Never put this together before. I don't think like a church organ shows up anywhere else in any of the music in this series. So I'm guessing kind of the church organ feel has like a Phantom of the Opera feel. So the sort of hidden monster kind of idea is evoked by it, which is what Mantis is with his stealth and everything.
You know me. I just had some kind of hallucination. Is it from the nanomachines?
Well, Gamer Jim, that is exactly how you get the iron sights where you want. You use the recoil from over here to kind of... I don't know anything about firing a gun. I know a little bit about firing a gun, but not one of those guns.
So, that was Mantis.
Spray control. Yep. Meryl was praying and spraying right there. Except usually with pray and spray, you can't see what you're trying to shoot at. Can I? Just curious. Nope. Let's see. This is neat. This version does not have the VR missions, which again, kind of sets it on its own sort of little area of the Metal Gear Solid family tree, because MGS1 plus the VR missions, you know, all that's a package that feeds directly into MGS2, because the VR missions are an important part of kind of like what sets up MGS2. And this one lacking the VR missions really does make it seem like this is like this is what Raiden thinks Shadow Moses was like. So when Solid Snake says in Metal Gear Solid 2, I doubt that simulation accurately depicted the events of that crisis. This is what Raiden was experiencing, not what we played in Metal Gear Solid 1. That's what I believe. Ah, I need the M9. Where's the M9? Thank you. Actually, I think I might have Space Hamlet to thank for prompting me in that direction. He and I have talked about this a few times, and I think that might be mostly his idea that I've co-opted. Don't mind me just kind of looking at textures here. Is that the Tokugawa Industries thing? Oily, only hand power? No, I don't know what that says. One of the things I loved about the Metal Gear Solid 4 database, which was released as like a companion program to MGS4. The section on CQC says that as their way of explaining why CQC was not used in games prior to Metal Gear Solid 4 by Solid Snake is that Solid Snake put a personal ban on it. But then, as of Metal Gear Solid 4, derivative versions of CQC have since leaked out to the PMCs, and they all have their own versions of it, all of which are inferior to the original, because that's how developing ideas work. The first idea is always the best, right? Not successive iteration and then something better comes along due to experience. No, it's the first idea because that's your ancestor, and the ancestor has primacy. Anyway, anyway, Solid Snake put a personal ban on CQC, so like not only he, but nobody could use it. He just kind of very sternly stood them down, crossed his arms, frowned, and they said, no, we're not using CQC. Now, I know
Who's there?
there is a suppressor. Ah, crap! Ah! Alright, this isn't gonna end well. Ah! Oh god, no, just kill me. I don't wanna do this. That's right. I mean, if these guys have been conditioned with gene therapy to have big bosses like warrior genes, God only knows what they're like, just like on their own.
Huh? Who's there?
Is there somebody there?
I really wish I had that AP sensor. And similar to the first game, this these areas really open up for stealth when you get the suppressor for the SOCOM. I think the background music here is one of the few areas where the original Metal Gear Solid theme comes through. Alright, I'm going to pop out here, I'm going to hold this guy up. Then I will try to choke him out.
Freeze. No.
There we go, that's the button. Because I'm not dealing with that. Let's see. I think. One second. This is a fine time to take a break, as I will go and see what's on the back of the box in 1 second. Give me a second. back, and unfortunately, I was going to show any newcomer the glory that is the panda, but the panda is curled up in the dead center of a bed on the underside, which means it's I'd have to do some Solid Snake stuff to crawl down there, grab him, and then escort mission him out. By escort mission, I mean use my legs to push myself backwards while I hold on to him, and he in turn is holding on to the carpet. And that's, I'm already doing Metal Gear in one reality. I don't know if I have it in me to do it in another. But here we have back of the box. We need to call Meryl. Pretty sure we need to call Meryl. Not Meryl yet. Do we have to fight Ocelot first? I think we have to fight Ocelot first. But we're going to try, and I see here that Meryl's number is .15. I think she's probably still under mind control, so probably is not going to respond. Nope. Oh crap. Please don't see me. Okay. I hate this camera. See, that is also one thing about this game is that when you get on alert, like the guards just, God only knows where they come from. Like they just show up, they spawn immediately, and even on lower floors, they emerge out of rooms from which, like, where there are no other entrances. Oh, weird. I killed the guys who would be doing the clearing, and... oh, jeez. Sounds like I killed the guys who were going to be doing the clearing, and then somebody discovered their bodies, and that changed the alert status. But now I got my cardboard box. Yeah, buddy. Whoop! Don't do that. Oh, crap. All right. Cameras in this game gave me no end of trouble. And I'm very glad for the ability to shoot them in first person and not have to worry about them at all. Again, takes away a pretty significant level of difficulty in regardless of setting. SW clone troopers? Like Star Wars clone troopers? The guys come upstairs? Huh. Oh, I bet they investigated the area directly below where I was stepping. 1080? No way. I saw Tony Hawk do a 720, and that was just blew my mind that even that was possible. I have to say, the ability to walk carefully over loud panels on the floor makes a whole lot more sense as a way of dealing with that obstacle, which was in the original. Makes a lot more sense than the original solution, which was to crawl. Oh my god. Ah!
Who is that? Enemy sight.
I'm gonna bleed my way down to the B2 level. Oh man. A 12-year-old who does it? Jeez. I actually wonder if there's a, I mean, just, I'm thinking in terms of like body mass and the ability to do something like that. You would probably be able to get more speed or more spin with less force. So if you could manage that, then... that makes sense to me. I'm wondering if the M9 was at the docks and I missed it. I really wish I could go back and get the get that AP sensor. Oh, hey, nifty! I did not know that was there. And now, about to get my magazine, which I can use as a distraction, happily. Stun grenades. There we go. There's my M9. I believe there's one more. There we go. Camera. Oh, I see. Oh, cool. I don't remember the trapdoors showing up in thermal goggles. I think that's the only one. It's the last of those. I mean, besides the progression one, of course. Yeah, this is how infrared looked in MGS2. Actually, I think that it depends on the version of MGS2. If I remember correctly, the infrared goggles in the original Sons of Liberty had the same visual effect where it's just a red outline over anything that's got a heat signature, and then you kind of can see everything else through sort of like a dark red filter when you're wearing the goggles. And I remember playing MGS2 and climbing up to the top of the mast of the tanker, grabbing the thermal goggles and climbing back down. At least one version of that game has the sort of red outline, but I think MGS2 Subsistence changes that, and this one uses the Subsistence version, I believe. Actually want to go back and play, excuse me, MGS2 to confirm that. Is there something behind here? I don't need to do that, but it feels cool, so I do. Oh, so I can let me do the cool feeling thing. This maybe? Huh. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, the original, oh! Which I played quite a lot of. Where you at, camera? I think I see you. There we go. Actually, want my rations equipped. Also, I believe they help you see cameras? Yeah, you can see cameras with these. Good. Get your cup noodle. That is a very, very MGS meal. Oh yeah, being able to look in first person, you can see not only, I mean, you can do this in the first game too, actually, so this isn't super unique, it's just their take on it. You can see Baker, you can see Ocelot there hanging out. Can I shoot him from here? Nope. Just goes right through his hair. And he keeps us cool the whole time. I find it weird that Snake doesn't even, like, situational awareness is like nil here. Like he's never dealt with explosives before and tripwires.
He's alive.
Whoa.
You're the Arms Tech president, Kenneth Baker, right? Don't worry. I'm here to save you.
No! Don't touch it!
Like nothing about this setup scans as weird to Snake.
C4.
In this version, not only does Snake do a backflip to avoid it, but Ocelot's just so devil-may-care, he's actually going to shoot one of the tripwires.
So you're the one that the boss keeps talking about.
It's also very weird, like, I mean, they didn't have this in mind when they made this, and these lines in this scene, but it's very weird in retrospect to see Ocelot, like, play acting, not knowing who Snake is. I swear to God, by the time he finally finishes this sentence, Snake will have forgotten what his codename designation is.
I've been waiting for you, Solid Snake. Now we'll see if the man can live up to the legend.
Oh man, that makes me want cup noodles. Oh yeah, Ocelot is one of my favorite characters in 3. He's so bratty.
This is the greatest handgun ever made.
Your dad gave it to me.
Single action army. 6 bullets. More than enough to kill anything that moves.
I mean, I don't know, man. Cup noodles are pretty good. That's kind of hard to say if you're fine without them.
Now I'll show you why they call me Revolver.
Now I'll show you why they call me Revolver.
You're pretty good. Just what I'd expect from the man with the same code as the boss.
Use a tactic he never expected, which is looking and shooting.
I had such a good fight, but I'm just getting warmed up.
Like his arm was late to the party and forgot that it like had been cut off, and the delayed blood spurt is great. Something that also kind of like, I don't know, undercuts some of the weight of the previous scene is that apparently all of those C4 explosives could go off and not kill Baker. It just needed a ninja to start the chain reaction.
Stealth camouflage.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Can't you even die right?
Arm's done bleeding, it's fine now. Vital fluids only spray out for dramatic purposes.
Lucky. We'll meet again. Who are you?
There, that red filter. That's the legacy infrared goggle filter. This is kind of nifty and ridiculous, though. Like this is where Kitamura is like brought on board to shine. I love Gray Fox's design. Yeah, if you watch, if you do a YouTube search for Versus Final Fight, you will absolutely see where this comes from. Just kind of whacking everything on the way out. I mean, I gotta be honest, sometimes I'm that coordinated too. Bonk, 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 bonk. No, Swimmy, I think that whenever I say the Dreamcast and the GameCube are retro and that kills me, what I mean is that I am retro and that kills me.
The DARPA chief told
Actually,
me
literally,
that
depending on how far the
detonation
retro
code.
goes, right?
What about yours?
Oh, I get it. Jim sent you. You're from the
And yes, Swimmy, that's where I feel
Answer
like
my question.
this version
What about your
falls
code?
down. I
There's no
think
time.
that it would have been it would have been a better game
Now the
if they
terrorists
had
have both
adjusted
codes and can launch any time.
the level designs, the game strategies to accommodate those new skills.
He couldn't read you? How'd you do it?
Surgical
Same.
implants in my brain.
Surgical implants?
Kind of like psychic insulation. Everyone who knows these top secret
I gotta wonder
codes
what kind of
has it.
world Baker lives in, where somebody goes up to him and said, "All right, so I want to put something in your brain, like directly, like not just in your mind, but like I want to stick something in your brain." And Baker goes, "Why?" He said, "So no one can read your mind." And Baker's like, "All right,
Anyway,
all right."
how did
I
they get
always
your
wondered.
code?
Just jab that right in.
I never had any training on how to resist.
It's the world where like people in the higher levels, people who are in the know, just assume that mind
Looks
reading
like
is
you had
possible.
some fun with you, all right.
Surgical implants. Yeah, those are called. Those are just called weapons.
What happened to your arm?
Yep.
He broke it.
Yeah, no, the person who sold that is
His was
is
sliced
actually
off.
surgical implants versus non-surgical
You're a
implants.
funny guy.
It's kind of suggests another favorite line of this game where
DARPA chief,
Ocelot's talking about Metal Gear
is
and
he
he
okay?
says something like, or is it
Dead.
Ray? Anyway, he says it's all made with currently existing technology, which one would hope. That's
No, that's not what you promised, Jim. Now you want to shut me up.
oh yeah, Snake
Calm down.
Snake is wonky in this.
What's wrong with you? I just told you I was here to save you.
Yes, Swimmy, I agree.
I didn't kill the DARPA chief. He had a heart attack or something.
A heart attack. Oh, don't be a fool.
Like, it's interesting, when I think of retro, I think of the things that I have a sense of nostalgia for, but because my experience as an adult encompasses this game's release, this also still has a feeling of immediacy to me that something like the Commodore 64 doesn't.
They wouldn't hesitate to
So that's why
launch.
it feels very weird that it is retro.
I agree. But what do they really want?
Who knows? Maybe they're like us. in
I
the
mean,
arms industry.
even we're like 32-bit games now,
Always looking forward to the
PS1
next good war.
graphics, that aesthetic is now considered a retro aesthetic, which frankly, I like. I think that
Do you still
if
have the guard
PS2
keys?
and PS1 can be considered retro in the sense of being easier to develop on an indie level or a triple I level,
heard you had them.
No.
that opens some neat possibilities for being able to make games like the ones that I love without having to go all in on like current AA or AAA levels of
Woman. Who?
investment.
A soldier that was thrown in prison along with me.
Prison. That female soldier.
She said that she had just joined up as a
Yes,
recruit.
yes they did.
They threw her in prison.
But it's interesting to see,
because she refused to take
like
part
even
in
when
the
like Last
rebellion.
Guardian was brought over to PS4,
new recruit.
people were just going
That with the
nuts,
Colonel's
and not in a
niece.
great way, over the
gave
the
her
old
the keys.
PS2 camera system.
looks like she
Oh yeah,
knows
this is where
she's down
Snake
here, though.
Snake
I hope
breaks
she's
character.
okay.
I'm sure she is. She's
Coming up here.
green, but as tough as they come. But how did you know she escaped?
I was in contact with her by codec. Until I was tied up here, that is.
Oh yeah, Swimmy. I love the PS1 aesthetic for its ugliness too. It's kind of in the same area of one of the reasons why I like Old English. There's a level of
I'm sure she
grating. There's a grating quality to it that I find very attractive.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, it's. Oh, sorry. I forgot.
He's gonna blow his brains out.
It should be on the back of the package.
Snake has got like no cool left. Like that was it. That's it. That's the point of the mission where Snake is done.
I'll contact her right away. But tell me,
everything else is just way downhill. It's also really funny that like they gave him like a camera, like a cut to a faraway camera and a zoom in, just for the act of forgetting.
One of my employees.
Who's that?
The team leader of the Metal Gear Rex project. A genius at engineering, but a little bit of an oddball. If there's anyone who can figure out how to stop Metal Gear from launching, it's him.
What if he can't come up with anything?
Well, you'll have to destroy it. Emmerich knows how to destroy Metal Gear.
Where is this Emmerich?
Well, he's probably being held somewhere in the nuclear warhead storage building.
Yeah, I know, right, Ark?
That's where he worked.
I understand, but why Metal Gear? The nuclear age ended with the turn of the millennium.
Oh, you're wrong.
Yeah, I can see that, Ark.
Hasn't disappeared.
For me, I think retro. The closer something gets to being like emulation being like the main way of being able to play it, an exclusive way of being able to play it, the more it comes closer to retro for me. I know that there is actually a definition. I think it's like a 10 or 15 year time period, or however many console generations back a game was released that makes it retro. But as time goes on, I have a feeling that is probably going to change if it's the console definition, because like PS4 has been around for longer. I want to say longer than like PS3 as a system that's carrying the weight of new games.
Are corroded with nuclear waste seeping out of them.
Unbelievable.
Not only that, several pounds of muff are reported every year.
Muff?
It stands for material unaccounted for. It proves that there's a large...
I emotionally have a problem with the word "for" being included in an acronym.
Furthermore, since the end of the Cold War...
But it comes at the end of the sentence, so that makes it even weirder, so it makes it okay as an exception.
Work with nowhere to turn. In other words, there's plenty of available nuclear material and scientists for making a bomb.
There's scientists in those drums, too.
We live in an age where any small country can have a nuclear weapons program.
What about the other superpowers?
The Russians and Chinese still pursue.
Oh man, yeah, Kirby's Dream Course was lovely. I think it wasn't that the isometric game where the Kirby is the golf ball, right?
We need a weapon of overwhelming power.
You mean Metal Gear?
Yes. You know our industry suffered quite a blow as a result of the cuts in military budgets.
I think it's interesting how Anderson is like, how did you know about Metal Gear? That's a classified black project. And Baker's like, yeah, Metal Gear. Classified black project.
My company lost their bid to produce the U.S.
Everybody who waltzes in here should know.
Fighter jet. The Metal Gear system was
no, I don't know. It's a little more savvy on Baker's end to assume that the operative sent into to this situation would probably know a little bit about it. Although Snake only knows about it because of past missions, not because of anything that Campbell told him. So
you can avoid a lot of red tape and get a great lead time on your weapons production, and no one can bother you. Not even that bunch of
no, totally. That's the ending to MGS5 is canon.
Bribes.
And this is all a fantasy.
Just call it the military-industrial complex. Anyway, Metal Gear was going to be formally adopted after the results of this exercise were analyzed.
I don't give a crap about you or your company.
Yes, that's about what I'd expect from a grunt like you. Here. This is what you came for, right?
What's that?
An optical disc. It's all here. The main hard drive was destroyed by gunfire.
That's interesting.
This is the only remaining copy of the data.
What kind of data?
All the data collected from this exercise. Don't play dumb. I know you were sent to get this. I hid
Yeah,
from
peacetime
that
ain't cheap.
sadistic maniac while he was torturing me. They don't know this disc exists. Make sure that you report this to Jim, to your boss. I'll give you my card, too. It'll open up all security level 2 doors.
Can you walk?
No. You go on without me. They got my password. They don't want anything else from me.
I have one more question. Who or what was that ninja thing? It looked like you knew something.
That ninja? That was Foxhound's dark little secret.
Dark little secret?
An experimental genome soldier.
You know him?
You should ask Dr. Naomi Hunter from Foxhound. She knows better than I.
Naomi?
You've got to stop them. If it goes public, my company and I are finished.
What? Doesn't Metal Gear use currently existing technology?
Metal Gear itself does, but...
Yeah, that line right there.
What did you do to me? No.
Evening, Dustin. Let me see, what time are we at?
No.
I'm gonna go for... I think I got about 15 minutes left in me before I gotta shut it down for the night. So I'm hoping that we can get up to the Raven tank fight before calling it.
They're just using you for...
Forks die.
What the hell?
So he was upset that his temper tantrum didn't kill him.
Colonel, are you listening?
Excuse me. Yeah, that makes sense for Campbell. It's also, I mean, I know Portable Ops isn't exactly canon, but... Oh, okay. Can I grab him for dog tag shakedown, or is he's not like Fat Man? Okay. But yeah, like apparently Campbell met Big Boss at San Geronimo Peninsula and stuff. Anyway, that shouldn't change whether or not he knew that Snake is who Snake is. I'm not cold-blooded, I'm curious. There's a difference. Should be walking by here.
Looks all clear.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't feel comfortable like, shooting kids. Oh, come on. god. Yeah, so these guys are gonna show up real freaking fast. Where's my...
Freeze. Looks all clear. Don't kill me.
Let's see. Where's that hatch? There we go. Sounded like he heard... Oh, there he is. No, there. Rip. What if the bodies actually wink out, or if they just, if they're just sitting down there at the bottom of a shaft, dead? Oh yeah, that's right. So Snake will reuse that animation, the tossing over the edge of a cliff animation when you drag them up to the edge of one of those things too. Pretty sure that was the backup unit that I just iced. Let's look at that just 2 more times because it's fun. Yeah, for I mean, the thing is, like, there's only one level where that feature really even makes sense. So it is pretty smart of them to find this occasion to reuse that animation and that whole idea, because, you know, someone's gonna do it. So it's nice to be able to respond to that rather than just the sort of like very janky, awkward pick up drop. Also, they're able to kind of cut the camera. Oh. Okay, nope, it's definitely a bottomless pit, or else I expect that grenade would have blown up. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. So, oh well. That backup unit, that happens if a patrol guard who calls in his report doesn't report in.
Who are you?
Really curious what the, oh right, I bet the delay between codec lines, subtitles there, has to do with the animation that happens. They play the animation regardless. Oh, nope, not that. Oh, they repaired it? I call nonsense. Cool, I get a fun clearing camera perspective. I'm going to get to the tanker, get to the tank, and then I'm going to save and then call it a night. So I'm expecting I will have that done probably about 6 minutes. I'm going to wait for this clearing, Meryl should open the door, and then I can proceed.
Clear.
Oh wow, frame rate really drops. We don't have an animation for guards once both their feet are shot, so they die. So what is in here? Would really like it if I could find the AP sensor. Well, stun grenades will be useful for a non-lethal fight against Raven.
Snake, don't...
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. Even perfecter for this guy, because this is the one that I really wanted to... I mean, those guys ain't waking up. This guy might.
Snake, I unlocked the cargo door for you.
Thanks. Where are you?
Where I can see...
Yeah, I haven't played this game... Well, I last played it in March, so... I find that when I wait long enough between play sessions, I've forgotten what my normal routines are, and that's usually what kind of kills the playground feel of the games. What's this? Weird. Huh. Interesting. That usually kills the playground feel of the game, so being able to come at it anew with a fresh perspective restores some of that quality.
Nothing here.
So, I'm going to use thermal goggles here. Oh, right, also, this is actually a lot easier. So, they wanted a reason to use this asset, that idea, so you can actually just shoot the sensors out. Yeah, I dig it. The OST is pretty good on this. So, this is a good place to save it. It'll be fun to start the next stream on Raven's cutscene. So... there we go. And that brings us to the end of the stream. Thank you everybody for coming out. It's been a great chat and a great crowd. I will resume doing this on Tuesday night. Typical range of start time is 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but that's flexible. But I will definitely stream for 2 hours on Tuesday night. So, Space Hamlet, it's great to see you. I've missed you out for the past several streams. Swimmy, Ark, Dustin, it's great to see you. And yeah, everybody have a great night, and see you soon.